much for listening to Crazy Conversations with Miss Kim on IntellectualRadio.com, where you get crazy conversations, of course, with Miss Kim. It is so good to be back. We are returning from a very happy and also a very fragile moment that we experienced in our lives. And in order to come on tonight, which was extremely hard for me, I experienced a very urgent loss. And this loss was within my Watkins family. So I am asking my intellectual radio family to please pray for my family and especially for my cousins' kids, Sharika, Donovan, Dejanay. We love you. We are here for you. And to my brother and my cousin, Maurice, and my sister cousin, Marissa, everybody knows exactly what type of hit our family just experienced with the loss of Coco. At one point in our family, it was just Coco and I because we was 1974 babies. Yes, I just told my age. She was blessed to reach 50 on February 22nd. But at one point, I have just gotten to the point that I needed to express just how important she was in our family. You know, she was the glue to our entire Watkins unit. And I realized that if death doesn't change you, something is wrong. And this loss has changed my everything. So I hope as a family that we can continue everything that Tonisha Coco Killer she did for us. I felt the first couple of weeks that I wouldn't bond with my family. It took one night, family, one night for Coco to be at the foot of my bed. The next day, I realized exactly what the Watkins name stood for. I realized exactly what our family meant. So I'm praying that we all be held accountable to continue the yard parties, the Watkins reunion, the card games, the fish fry, continue to feed the community. I had the weirdest thing to happen. An older man, about 58 years old, was a neighborhood handyman, came to help Sam and I with some yard work. And he never talks. He never talks. And he looked at me and said, Miss Kim, I got a good place to work. And I said, where you working at, Carl? He said, I've been working for your cousin. She just bought the house down the street. And I said, what? And I said, but you've been over here so many times and you never told me that you were working at my cousin's house. He said, yeah, she got the house down the street on 119th and I've been working for her. And when she told me you all were close cousins and y'all cursed each other out on every phone call, he say, I laughed, but I told her, you all are some caring women. And he said so many wonderful things about Coco. And so with that, I just asked my family to please, let's continue to keep Coco's light shining always so that she can rest well. And family, we can do this. We can do this if everybody just come together and put our minds and hearts together like Coco did. How she had the time, I don't know, but we have to do this in order to get through this. We have to stay together in order to do this. Segregation, separation cannot get us through this. So, again, to my family, I love you all. Let's go through this bereavement process in an appropriate manner. If it's anything that we can do, let us know. We love you. We love you. We love you. Thank you so much for letting me say that, intellectualradio.com. Again, I am Kimberly Watkins Allman, your crazy host, and I am here with our executive producer that is working with the equipment right now. But Sumner Allman, who is my wifey for lifey, is here. We have been having some amazing times celebrating. As you know, wifey turned 51 on September 21st. So we had a lot of good things going on. If you did not know, we had our adoption carnival and we had our time that we had with our family and our friends, and we gave the biggest shower that we could think of because we wanted to celebrate becoming parents. And even though that's what I got for my 50th birthday, I guess, because I don't know. I thought I was getting a something else that starts with a B, but I got a baby, so I'm happy. Mama Sam said I was getting nothing else but him, so I am going to enjoy him while I can, cause he is such a ladies' man. So I better enjoy him while I can. Tonight's topic: should parents seek advice from their children instead of their mates? But before we dive into this conversation, I just would like to talk to the boss lady about this adoption carnival. We had the pleasure of having Wanda B and Mr. Earl Winfrey at our shower on August 31st. And I would just love to hear exactly what they thought about the event. We were so blessed to have them there. They had maybe 3 to 4 other, events, but they made it their business to come and celebrate Sam and I, along with Titan and our other children. So with that being said, I am forever grateful for their support because they don't have to leave this studio to support anyone, but that's just the type of people that they are, and they are forever in the hearts of the almonds. So, Miss Wanda B, let's talk about this shower. What do you think, Miss Wanda B, before we get into this crazy conversation?
I don't know if anyone's ever attended a carnival, but this was a real carnival. It was amazing. And what was the best thing about it, I think, is how full of love it felt. Children run around playing, enjoying the moment, adults enjoying the moment, embracing their inner child, having the candy from the old school candy, the new school candy, anything you could think of that you'd ever have at a carnival was there. It was just a fun time with a lot of love. The kids were so happy and they were playing, and you felt the love of your family coming together with your new addition. He was having a good time. You could not catch him. Every time I try to grab him, he's off running, enjoying being a child as he should. And then the fire truck, people got to experience getting on a fire truck and and music. It was just really a good time. Take the picture. You had people taking pictures there so you could capture the moment. It was full of love. Not only was it a true carnival, if you've ever experienced a carnival, and it's not like your regular backyard party. I'm not joking. If you ever went to a real carnival, this was a true carnival. You took 3 backyards and converted into a carnival experience, and it was exactly that. It felt like the whole block was attending. It was everything. But what I really remember about it is that everybody, people were just talking to each other. They didn't know each other. They're like, oh, this, and everybody's hugging each other. It was just full of love. It was truly a family event.
Well, we surely appreciate you coming. Your presence meant everything to us, and we felt like it was major to celebrate because we did want some to have the full shower experience and also the experience for Titan as well. So again, it made the world of a difference us having you guys there, and we appreciate you leaving the studio for us. I'm only going to ask you that one more time. You already know what date I have in mind for you guys to leave the studio for
Yes,
us.
but it was congratulations, some.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I like to call him LeBron since that's the name he chose for himself.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him and just the true love. I was kept trying to grab him. He would take off, he's running and playing, and it was just so much fun. The adults had just as much fun as the kids. I
I
was
think
like,
so.
Earl, get off the fire truck. He's talking to the fireman. I'm like, come on. He told me let's go, but he kept getting involved in something else. I was like, this is true karma. He's like, I didn't get my goodie bag.
Yeah, it was. It was.
It
We
was a good
we
time.
definitely enjoyed ourselves. So again, before we go into tonight's topic, did you want to say anything?
No,
Huh? You're good?
I'm
Okay.
good.
Well, again, tonight's topic, should parents seek advice from their children instead of their mate? Where do we draw the line? Before we dive into this amazing conversation, again, we hope that everyone that's tuned in is doing blessed, feeling blessed, and most of all, acting blessed. Because sometimes we could be feeling blessed and doing blessed, but guess what? We don't act blessed. So let's start showing just how good God has been to us. So again, we appreciate everyone with everything that they poured into us, that they poured into Titan LeBron Allman. He is so excited again. So during our research, this was a conversation that kind of slapped me. I'm gonna kind of say that. This conversation kind of slapped me, everyone. You know, it it's a topic that can go on, but I'm praying that, we can wrap it up tonight. And but again, since our start in radio and podcasting, we have learned that once you talk about a topic, it can be requested again and again and again and twisted 100 different ways. So, as you know about our last segment, like we said, we had the adoption celebration. We needed a moment to absorb the fact that we were actually parents again and parenting together. But even though we have been doing that for 8 years, it's just different. It just felt different. And to actually have the birth certificate signed, sealed in our hand, that makes it even more memorable. So over these last couple of weeks, we had a chance to, bond as parents, go over some things. We had to do a lot of paperwork and different things like that. But we did not forget about our crazy conversations. Never will we forget about our crazy conversations. So again, should parents seek advice from their children instead of their mates? Of course, my wife is looking at me. So there are a few reasons why you might not want to go to your children instead of going to your mate. This topic is hard for me in so many components. I was happy at one time in my life, I was happy with just having my kids. Was that correct for me? No. I was happy with just having my children at one point in my life. And I had to do deep research for this one. And I learned that the emotional role of parents is to build love, affection, and esteem. This is an essential part of being a parent, and it's a beautiful thing to behold. Our roles as adults and parents is not just emotional. And even though your child is not your friend and should not be called your friend. And I learned that and I did not know what to do. And sometimes a mother loves her child emotionally, but neglects the functional role. That child may be at risk of not maturing as a responsible adult. Emotional and functional parenting roles go hand in hand, but we need both. And me learning this was so urgent because, again, I am doing this all again fresh. So I'm not a pro at parenting. There's no guide to parenting. So no matter what and how much research we do, we still will not get it right. We won't get it all right. But the one thing that we can do as parents is definitely try. And I have some real life scenarios that I have to put on the table tonight because, again, instead of using our listeners' uh, information to the fullest, I had to throw some of mine in there as well because I realized as a parent that that's one of the things that I had to work on and that I'm still working on. I had to learn that as our children got older, the parent needs to take on more of a functional role and less of an emotional role because the goal for older kids is to prepare them to live without us. Some parents feel emotionally attached to their older children, not grasping that they may not be ready for some of the things that our lives bring. And I realize with that sometimes I only had the children to talk to about my problems and things that I was going through, and not understanding that they were not mature enough to deal with some of the adult things that I had going on. And I had to learn to do more functional things to the children. They didn't like it, but I had to do that. And with that, that means I had to set boundaries. And I had to set limits with the children, and those limits came with some dislikes. It came with a lot of resistance. And the resistance was, oh, mom setting limits, or mom's not doing that anymore, or mom's acting funny, or mom's tripping. She bogus. I know all the things that, you know, they say. So with setting limits, it is a healthy function. And you really need to do it if not for you, for your children's sake. And setting boundaries is how children learn to figure out what's safe and what's not, what's appropriate and what's not. Again, I felt like, oh my God, when I got that topic request, I'm like, did somebody see what I've done and they're calling me out on it? I had to learn that I am my children's authority. That's my role and my responsibility. You know, seeking advice on anything from your children instead of your mate is just not right. Being friends and confining in everything with your children can come at a cost that we may not want to pay as parents, and it undermines your role as a parent. We are the only ones that can be our children's parent. That's why you need to be the parent and not the friend. And I am learning that still. Talk to your mate, not the children. Or if you need a friend, go get one elsewhere, but do not expect your child to be your friend. I think my wife has something to say. Go ahead and say it because I'm already ready.
No. See, my preference is different. You could communicate with your kids, and like being a friends, we talked about this on the show before. My kids already know I'm not their friend. I'm mom, and my kids already know we could confine each other and we could keep it within each other. And my kids also know with anytime you get into a relationship, marriage, you know who come first is God and your spouse, and your kids. If you really drill that in your kids, they understand you will not have no problem. But like in situations, it's majority of parents do seek advice from their kids. Well, like I say, to each his own. But to me, I feel as though depends on the scenario. I would not seek advice from my kids before my spouse. Because you teaching our kids that's not the right way to do. We are like role models in real life to our kids. So we seeking advice from them, it's gonna go on and on like a generational curse. You do not. You could talk to your kids and you can ask for their advice. You can. But do you have to? No, you don't have to ask them. No, you don't ask them for their advice before your spouse. You don't tell your kids first before your spouse. You don't let the kids tell the spouse what's going on, or you a whole parent. I think that's unfair to the spouse.
So you're saying that you shouldn't hear things from the kids before you hear them from your mate.
Of course, I
Okay.
definitely disagree with that. Well, like I said, to each his own. Everyone different. Mine be different from mine. But I think it's so out of character. And when you take the oath or when you take vows with your partner, your kids should not have to come and tell you, well, you know what, mama, ooh, whatever, and what? When did this happen? The kids know first. I think it's unfair.
I understand that. So with parents saying all the time that their children, that's my best friend, that's my bestie. What can our children help us with that our mates can't help us with? Can you what do you feel about that?
The
You said, what
internet.
can go ahead, Miss
Go
Wanda.
ahead, Miss Wanda. Take
I don't know. I was trying to think what kind of conversations would your children have better knowledge of than your spouse. And
Thank
for
you.
me, it's only the internet. Like how do I do this on this computer, and how do I do this on my phone? And how my children are more knowledgeable than my mate when it comes to
That's why I say it
technology.
depends on the
Mhm.
So
situation.
it depends on the topic, but relationship advice, my children would not be knowledgeable enough. Their experiences, I want to keep them children as long as they need to be children. They have the rest of their lives to have
Yes.
issues and deal with issues. And I
Mhm.
don't think sometimes adult issues should be theirs. And we know how to compartmentalize worrying about something or I think that's a lot of pressure to put on a child. They don't have the tools, the life experiences, or even sometimes the knowledge to deal with things. Sometimes your friends don't. I remember my daughter telling me a situation that one of her friends was cutting herself. And I told her, you need to talk to your friend and ask her to get professional help because you're not going to be able to talk her through this one.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what to tell her because I don't know how to deal with that situation. And I probably handled it like she didn't want me to freak out. And I was like, ah! And so I was like, you know what? You and I, we're not equipped for your friend's issue. We don't have the tools to help her properly. The best thing we can do is get her the help or direct her where to go, get her the right phone numbers, the right people, share it with the right people. So sometimes I don't think children even have, if it's deeper than what they do have knowledge with. Like if I need to know who is some little rapper person that's in the news, if I want to know who that person is, I'll go to them and say, who's this person that they're talking about in the news, what they actually have expertise with. If I want to know Dragon Ball Z, like what is this character?
There you
What is
go.
who's this? My one nephew knows all superheroes. So if I want to go, who's Lex Luthor? I'm gonna go to him because that's his expertise. But I don't never would I go to a child for adult matters. But I would like to know what, because maybe I haven't experienced a situation that requires that. So I'm listening to both you guys to hear what those situations, because maybe the people who asked you that question may have I can't think of other topics that, because I'm only thinking of my own children and what their life experiences and their knowledge, what they've been exposed to even in school. I'm not going to negate that they may have experiences that I don't have and they could help me with things. But at the ages they are, I have a pretty good idea of what I think they've been exposed to based on what I allow them to be exposed to or where they've been in life. And like if I wanted to know what gift do I get a 5-year-old, I know I'll ask my daughter that. Or where do I buy this outfit from? Because she knows clothes and my other daughter does not. Each child has their own personalities. My other daughter wouldn't wear a dress to save her life, but I'd ask her, where do I get this from?
Mhm.
And she's very knowledgeable on cars and different things. So I go to them for what they have knowledge for.
Well, that is exactly what we have been going back and forth with the conversation about. So we just kind of went through some of the things that we had experienced and seen others experience. And I think parents often, make the mistake of making their children the person that they go to confide in. So
Is
when
it
they
to build the closeness? Like they feel like that'll, like you mentioned, them being their bestie,
right,
to try to uh, draw. I can't think of the word I'm trying to use, but um, where you're trying to feel closer to them by sharing this, so
right.
you all can have some commonality or become closer with it. That's the reason for it, you
Yeah,
believe?
and I learned I definitely learned the hard way, years ago by involving my children with issues that they were not mentally ready for because it took things backfiring on me to realize it was ineffective because my children were not morally, emotionally, or intellectually ready to play the role to advise me. But again, I kept talking to them because at one point in my life,
You're close to it.
they were close to that.
And
They
they
were
know
close.
you.
And they, I trusted them. And,
And
I
we're kind of, our culture is to keep our business within the family.
absolutely,
So that gives you an ally that knows all the situation. You don't have to explain what happened because they lived it,
because they lived it.
and you don't have to take it outside of the family unit. That makes
We
sense to
live
some
by
degree.
that. What happens in the house stays in the house and that type of thing. So again,
But I feel as though as parents, we put too much pressure on the kids. Because once they get to our age, they're gonna be worn out and overwhelmed. I think if you have any issue, you should go to your spouse first. Then if you know you can't talk to your kids about it, if you want to have these like make decisions and make choices, it should be considered your spouse. So like I said, I'm not never said talk no, don't talk to your kids. I always talk to my kids, but I also want to know teach my kids about loyalty. I think confining and let a child know, well, should I do this? Well, I have to do this. But once again, when your spouse told you about it first, you threw it to the side. There's no way that if your spouse throw you a suggestion or scenario, you like, okay, whatever. But when a child come in, when our child come in our space, they say the same thing what your spouse say. You really focusing on the child. So I'm really as though it's their mentality on the child mentality.
boom, I took the bullet. I took the bullet. I took the bullet. Go ahead.
So that's the way that I feel. I feel as though like, well, I said the same thing. There's nothing competing or comparing to kids as to a parent. You cannot let those spouse ask you one thing, then you turn them down. Then the child come behind the spouse, the parent, and say the same thing, and you like, oh, gee ho, no, it happened too many times, and I seen it.
Go ahead.
And so I know you about to cut in. You know me.
All right.
They know I be real. I be real, and I talk real. There's no fronting. I talk how I feel. I think it's out of order, And I feel as though is that if you go confine and make suggestions, they get suggestions from the kids, let the kids do what they got to do.
So, do you remember when we started dating exactly what you said to me about me communicating with the kids so much?
Yes,
What did you say?
they're not your friends.
And then do you remember saying that, well, Kim, I know if I want to get anything done, I'll just call.
Or my child.
Thank you.
Yes, I did say that. I said, you know what to do. If I need something, I know what child to call because I know I get it. Because when I ask you to do whatever, you're not doing it. But when they call to do it, you jumping. I could say it over the air.
You just did.
I'm just saying. So this how it goes. And so to the point, like it's not really teaching our kids. Once again, you could talk to your kids. I'm not never saying talk to your kids, but it's to each his own. And I'm not saying that you can't confine, but sometimes you have to let them be a kid.
Yeah.
Cause they be so overwhelmed. And so when it's daytime to pour you ain't gonna have nothing for them. Cause you don't know how. Because to me, sometimes your mentality, you keep on going to the kids' level. Not say they're immature, but it's like no, we have to let our kids live, and then when they're making all the choices and the decisions, so when it comes to their relationship, they could be like mommed out.
And that was the first thing that we dealt with, like, throughout dating. I had to learn, that the kids have their own anxiety, their own fears, their own things to deal with. They can't be dealing with mama crying on their shoulder every day. I can't use the kids to say, this is my bestie to share relationship problems with. Instead, I have to find, a trustworthy friend or someone to talk to, and this was before you, but as we started to date, it kind of trickled down because I wasn't really ready to, I guess, break that because
Change.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
have
wasn't
to.
really ready
To change. And I
to
wasn't trying to put too
change.
much pressure on you, but I felt as though when I got to know the kids, it's like because I listened to them. Of course, I talk to them, but am I going to say, well, is it okay if I go to whatever? No, I'm not going to ask them anything. I'm not going to tell them anything. I'm going to go to my spouse. But I do talk to my kids and I listen to my kids that we shared a lot. So I just think it's okay, like I said, to talk to them and let them know the difference.
Yeah, it does. And I think that I have done a lot better with that. No?
No,
Wait.
no, you have
No,
not. It been a decade almost. No, you have not.
I still do it.
As of today, as of
Now, I do
today.
not talk to my kids about a
No,
relationship
I
or,
did not say that.
okay,
I
I
never
talk,
see. You see now you said
uh,
like it's the difference. You said something
okay,
different. Never said talk to our kids about relationship. I did never say that.
okay, come on with it.
I said to the point like, well, I'm having a party and I'm such and such whatever. I'm going how. Did so my kids cuss me like whatever, whatever. No, I don't know nothing about it. No, you have to seek your spouse. Then seek your kids. But with the kids, it's different. They come and seek us because they are kids. They seek us. It's the difference. So that's why I think people just like I think they like confused. I think a lot going on. But it's okay to, like I said, it's okay for change and we don't want change. Of course we need our kids. Both parents needed their kids. Both parents, it's not just us, it's both sides of the parents, both gender of parents.
Well, I'm not using this as an excuse, but, like me, I felt like my emotional needs were not met as a child, a teenager, etc. So with that, I kind of overcompensated by trying to be that close to my children from things that I didn't get, buying them everything they look at, soothing them with extra attention and those type of things. Not saying that
It's
it
right.
was the right thing to do,
Correct.
but I'm saying
At that
I'm
moment.
learning. I will be 50 in 30 days, and I am still learning about parenting. I do not have it down pack, and I have worked with kids for almost 30
No,
years.
there's no
And I
perfect way.
learn something different every
Every
time I walk in that daycare. I learned something different. So again, I can take full accountability
no, it's okay.
for the things that I struggle with. Again, I realized that at one point in my life, my children was all I had. Being locked in the house with that many kids, they were the only people that listened to me. And again, they
It's
were
okay.
only ones that hugged me when I was sad. They did everything to accommodate their mom going through a rough situation. So again, even though it was way too much for them, I am just grateful that I am able to show them something different now. So with that, I'm happy that I can show them something different now. So again, it has made the world a difference. So people can never say that they they don't learn
No,
after, no,
we learn
you
every day.
that this generation teach me something all the time, because again, we are suffering right now where our age range, it, we missing the elders. Elders are not the same. Right now, elders are the messy ones. We can't even get an elder to bring families together or to do certain things. Elders want to be with the young generation, younger than us. So again, where does that leave us? It just leaves us to learn. So that's what I've been doing, trying to learn how to navigate through this parenthood with this generation that I do not like. But we're going to talk about that. So, again, this generation is hard. These young adults in their
No, it's not.
20s and 30s,
No,
they hard.
I disagree.
They don't love like they should. It's a lot. We can go through. They heartless, no loyalty. It's a lot that comes with navigating through with the younger generation under us.
See, you getting off the course, son.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I
You getting
took
off
a
the course. Of course, the generation they different, and that's one thing we have to realize that they not us. That's a lot of pressure we put on them. Once again, that's another part of the pressure. They not us, and we not them. It's like every generation change. It's a formation of change, and we just have to pay attention. It's making us learn. It's teaching us more. I'm with it to learn, and I'm with it to teach either one who asks. Like I said, I don't care. I love learning different things. I love learning from my kids. I do learn from my kids, but I don't seek. That's the
You
choice.
don't seek
Seek.
the advice.
No,
Uh,
since the difference from talking to I could talk to my kid, they could talk to me, but seeking, no.
So you like learning and
Yes.
navigating through.
Navigating with my kids. I love doing it, but seeking advice for them, they cannot seek grown up advice.
Well, can I cheat off your paper? It just it just ain't clicking. But again, like I said, I am extremely guilty of sharing too much with my children. I was happy with just my children. Like I told you, oh no, I would never, don't ask me to commit, get married. I'm not doing any of that. I just want my kids and that's it. Until I got lonely. You think twice about saying, I just want my kids. And then thinking that I just want my kids and I'm just going to have my kids. And then you came along. So again, I was content with just sharing everything with them and just being with them. But again,
It's okay to it's okay to be around them. It's okay to be with them.
I want to talk to them. That's all I did.
You can't talk to them. It's the difference once again. You could talk to your kids. And I talk to my kids and they talk to me. But once again, I'm not for to let Tidy know where I'm going down Bob house at such, you know what I'm saying? I'm not for him. I'm going out of town. Did Tidy come around me and you? Well, Mama Song, when you going out of town, whatever, and you don't know nothing about it. That's a
Keep
that's a
talking.
lot of that's a lot of bad habit what's going on. It is. That's a lot of bad habit. Once again, we're not teaching our
And
kids.
guess what that comes from? Guess what that comes from as far as our lives is concerned?
Tell me.
That comes from no structure. I had no structure. So it's hard for me to be able to structure my children when I had no
But I've been
structure.
trying to work with you and help you with the structure for the last years.
You saying it like you quit.
No, I'm just saying.
You giving
I've
your
been trying
notice?
to. No, I'm just saying. That's what I be wanting you to do. I need you. I be wanting you to have supported structure with me. Kids can't give you structure. It's like you go the opposite way. No, kids can't give you structure. I'm structuring you together. I'm trying to help you structure. I can't, we different. But yeah, I'm not trying to come and change you and change your life. But I'm just letting you know what I'm on and what I'm not doing.
You sound like you on Kendra
I'm just,
Dristo. You sound like you looking for love. Sure.
no, I'm saying I just want our kids to know the difference. Because once again, you know me, I be real with my kids. And I said in front of them, I said, well, last time I'm going to do this. Because in the future, they'll never know. We got to show them. They don't have to take our choice, but you'll never know.
I'm not doubting anything that you are saying. Instead of me trying to find someone to bond with, and back in the day when I should have been more into learning how to love and be loved properly, I was allowing my children to dictate my plans. I was. If I said I wanted to go somewhere and they said, no, mom, you'll need to go, I stay home. I've done that. I
Now
know
they
that.
grown, so you have to step back.
Because again, what if I'm just thinking, what if
Ain't no what if. You speaking it. Don't even
no,
speak.
I'm saying if I hadn't stepped out of the box a little and say, I'm gonna open up my life to be loved again.
Ain't never
Or
too late.
it wasn't. So I thought that, you know, starting those limits once you and I, got together. And then as one, we worked on different things that, we needed to accomplish with the kids. But I felt, like I said again, and that was before Sumner.
We talk about now,
Right.
Sumner.
So I'm still doing, you know what?
We're not talking about before, like I said, that we're not talking about before. We talk as of now, if the listeners are listening. It is to each his own. It's a different scenario. But I think it depends on, like I said, you can't talk to your kids. And I'm going to, like, explain math better. You can't talk to your kids and they can't talk to you. But letting your kids know what's going on, and like you doing this and you doing that. Well, if your spouse say something, you're gonna get your spouse. But once one of our kids say something, you agree with them. No, it's to the point that you have to be fair. And like I said, I'm not saying what you said, what you doing is wrong. But I'm speaking up to you, it's all about not to change you, just to hear me out. Because at the end of the
Okay.
day, it's that God come first and you. And once again, my kids could say what they say, but I'm gonna come to you first to let you know what's going on. If you say, well, Sam, I don't want T doing this and T doing that, okay. You ain't gonna hear it from nobody else say, well, Sam, no. Because my kids already know. So that's why I'm happy. They help me out a lot. I'm not gonna lie. My kids, I learned a lot from my kids. I'm not gonna
Ooh,
lie. I learned a lot from them because I listen. And they learned it a lot from me because they pay attention.
they do. Yeah, they do. And again, I felt like I think it took a couple times that, I tried to, lean on them, and they were like, they had to tend to their mate. That made me feel some kind of way. Let me check with my mate, mom. What? So again, I need to talk to y'all. Oh, well, I need to see if it's okay with my mate. Oh, what? Hit me with the boom, bam, bip. Hurt my feelings, broke me to the core. So
Want to ask questions to the
I
callers?
I realized that that was that was it. You know,
They not babies. You were scared for them to grow up.
very scared,
It's understandable as parents. We all
very
feel the same way.
scared.
Our kids always gonna be our babies. That's one thing we have to realize. No matter if they 45, 50, They always going to be our babies. They're not going nowhere. And that's one thing I want parents to know. Your kids not going nowhere. They stuck with us. But real life, your spouse ain't stuck with you.
And I was glad that I was able to, I just simply told them, I decided that there are some things I should be talking to or about with my mate, so I'm not going to put those adult issues on you all anymore because, you know, it's hurting my relationship with it. It can potentially hurt my relationship with my mate, and it definitely can potentially hurt the mother and child relationship because again, that opens up the door for when you tell your children certain things, they definitely will bring it back up, especially if it's something that bothers it, it'll get thrown back in your face. So that's one of the things that through therapy, through structuring our union and our marriage, our lives, it helped me realize that, okay, even though, 28, 24, they not ready. They just not ready for some of the things that, we have going on in our life. We can't, they don't know nothing about bills. They don't know nothing about, you know, the heartaches. They ain't had their heart broke and stuff like that yet. I don't think so. So, I had to do what you say and back off. It hurts. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Because they're not going nowhere.
Okay. So, with that, like I said, I learned how to respond differently to the kids and even with certain things that, they want to talk about. Sometimes I have to shut it down. And it's okay to shut it down sometimes because sometimes you just don't want to deal with certain
Just
things
listen.
and just listen.
That's
Yeah.
all I do. I listen to them. Let them just talk flow all night. Listen to all night. Just listen.
And I felt like it was just going to be a lot because, again, the children having two households, you know, it just felt like, I was putting them in the middle, of two households. And, I spent years telling the children what I was going through, what I did, what I wasn't going to do, you know, and then, children, they had to hear that from me, and then you have to hear it from another parent. So, it's very hard. It's hard to let go. And I've learned that to definitely come to you first and not for the just for me speaking out loud and then they run and tell you and then it's
It's like that we be so you are one of the parents that seek advice from the children than your spouse.
no, I don't. Well, what you think I asked them? I don't ask them like what you
No,
think.
I'm asking a question for the audience. That's all I'm doing for the listener. I'm
I
not saying you doing
I
it.
don't think
I didn't say
that
you don't. I'm
I
just
don't
asking.
think I've ever
Seek
not
advice.
about our relationship.
No,
I have before,
it's
but I've never
not about.
seeked
Okay.
advice.
No, no, we don't talk. No, that's one thing we don't do. We
No.
don't seek advice. No,
My
I don't think
relationship,
no parent does.
not anything. That's why I was very
I don't think
iffy
no.
about the request that because it was a hard request,
No,
but
I
I
read
wanted
more in detail. I think they was more saying like, well, like, do you want to go to Florida? We going to Florida. How you felt about that? I don't think they was so much more talk about you seeking advice from a relationship because can no child tell no grown up about a relationship because they have not experienced anything. So I don't think they was talking about anything personal like that.
well, once you put your personal things, and a lot of parents do put their personal issues, very personal issues out there, to their kids. And I have done the same thing, um, all those things I chose to discuss with my children at one point was thrown back. into my face again, like I said. And I couldn't say anything. I couldn't say anything. I just had to take it like a G. I had to take it because, again, I put too much on them at an early age. And instead of being a better communicator outside of my children, it seems as though I communicated so well with kids that I did not know the proper way to communicate with adults. And
Okay.
so at this
Accountability.
at this age, I take full accountability to that. As well, I felt like, again, all I needed was kids. I don't care about the adults. I just felt like that at one point. And I never said that it was the right thing to do. So it just made me realize that how important it is once you and I decided to get married, how important that part was, to you. And it wasn't like breaking apart from them.
Hmm.
It was just structuring us together so that we all can learn how to communicate and be on the same
Yes.
page. So now I I love that. I love that part. I love that component that we were able to put into place for the family that we created, because again, we created this, so we have to keep it structured, keep it watered, keep it loved. We have to do that.
We have to be
And
parents.
we have to be, and we
'Cause
have
that's
to
what
do it as parents and not as
we have
friends.
to be, yes, because that's what they want and that's what they need.
Yeah, you are right. You are so right. And, I all I wanted is a responsible relationship with my children as a parent. I want that responsible relationship as a parent because I need them to know, don't question me. Don't ask me about my relationship or why I'm doing this or why I'm doing that, because I can't do that to y'all.
But you can't stop. You can't all of a sudden you just go stop it. That's a habit for them. So you have to gradually.
That's why I talked about it to them.
You have to grab, but you have to be consistent. So you can say, "Well, don't be asking me no questions. Don't be asking me where I'm going. There, don't be asking me no questions. Ask where I'm going." It's too, they're used to that. So you can't be getting mad when they always say, "Well, where you going? What you doing?" You can't get mad all of a sudden. They used to that type of life. You can't just take it away like cold water. No, you got to gradually let them know. Well, this is why I say this. This is why I don't ask questions. This is why you have to let them know what you're saying. You do have to. I'm sorry. People might say, well, I don't have to let them know anything. Yes, you do. You have to really break down to the generation why you don't want them questioned, why you should be questioned, why you should be questioning your parents. You just can't say, well, don't question me, don't answer me. It's too late. You start off wrong to me.
Well, again, I simply had to talk, and again, it feels good to me now. It feels good to me emotionally. I feel better. I feel like I don't check their location because I don't want them checking mine. It's just a lot that this generation.
I do. I check their location. Now that's the difference. I ain't say all that.
Are you be checking it?
I check location because they still my kids.
So, like I said, I just try to back off a little bit because it seems as though, if I expect too much, then they'll expect too much. And all I want to do is be with my wife, and they won't, you see what I'm saying? I can't give them everything like I used to. I got tight and I got tea, so some of my focus have to be on them sometimes, and I just can't handle some of the things that this generation brings to the table. So, in the idea of me seeking advice with this generation drives me crazy because I see how they handle things. So, that's scary. So, I definitely have to be very selective in the conversations that I have as a parent.
Uh, I Lord, this generation, they this and they that. But you know what? I love this generation. I'm not even going. I always tell you this. I say they are weird,
I,
but they different weird. They make you strong. That way they make you open your eyes and they make you hear. So that's one thing I love talking to them. Confined, I love talking to them because once again, day by day, I'm learning something. I always ask them about, like one to be said, computers, technology, because they know all the updates.
Oh yeah. I check. I
I
let them
do
help me.
question them, yes. So I sit around them just to see what's going on, what's the new thing.
I learn a lot from them outside of my personal thing. I learn a lot. Some things that I learn, but again, when it comes to, those personal matters, and I'm not sure if they are allowed to be in any other adult business, but don't even ask me my personal stuff. If I decide to share it, I'll share it. If not, I won't. And they do me the same way. And I just don't want to know. At this point, some of the things, don't tell me that. I don't want to be looking at you side eyes. But again, the purpose of this conversation was to, open that door to parents that do seek advice from their children before they're mate or without their mate. And I just pray that this journey that we are on, that we will learn to do better as we communicate and navigate through our forever life together, because these kids be gone on but with their business, and look at mama at home by herself, and mama ain't got nobody, daddy ain't got nobody, all of that, and they gone on. I can't call and
Not
disturb.
me.
I can't call and disturb that groove. So now I got a groove.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody messing my groove up. So again, thank you so much for listening to Crazy Conversations with Miss Kim. That went fast. We should have came back a long time ago. October is about love. So please tune in every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on the station that feeds your brain, IntellectualRadio.com. Stay tuned. We have Simeon Henderson tonight, and that's at 8 p.m. Please stay tuned and join my friend for an amazing show tonight. If you have not shared and subscribed our Crazy Conversation page on YouTube, please go to our page, enjoy some previous live and pre-recorded conversations. Again, thank you so much for tuning in to Crazy Conversations with Miss Kim on intellectualradio.com. Good night, friends.
Yeah. I see you, baby.